Hello everyone, it's Fritz. I'm here again with another video. Today I want to gush over my just love of sci-fi. I've been reading a lot and right now my favorite genre has to be sci-fi. I'm just really in love with like the theme right now. Like just genre I'm reading a lot of just science fiction from like the 90s and 80s. I don't know where it's from, but it's just like just cool stuff. Things like 40K and Ghost in the Shell, Star Trek. I've been getting a lot into Star Trek and Star Wars, just stuff like that. So today I just wanted to talk about why I love sci-fi and why I love, drawing it, reading it, writing it, doing just stuff like that. So, why I like sci-fi. Here's the reason, right? I like it because I feel like it's more versatile than just regular old like fantasy. Like when I think of fantasy, I think of like the dwarves, the elves, the humans, and it's all in like a general European medieval like vibe, right? That's kind of the default setting. But with sci-fi, I feel like you can do so many things and add just like you can even still use that dwarves and elves and things, right? You can still use that, but like change it up and make it so much more interesting. Like when it comes to world building, right? Um, I don't just build like little cities or like little towns. I build like actual like worlds and planets and like what this planet is like and like how life affects on this planet and like just stuff like that because I just think that's so interesting because I just love the concept of like just space, you know? And I also like how you can take all of these like more fantastical elements, uh, like fantastical elements like gods and magic, and then like write it in a way where it's just like that's just like ancient or like advanced technology in this universe. So like the gods that your characters would meet in a fantasy setting is actually just a race of incredibly advanced aliens and like they're just like incredibly old and super powerful. And it's just like just really I just really like that, like love those ideas where like you can explain the stuff in the story through like more science based answers rather than oh it's just kind of magic, it's kind of like I'm like grounding the worlds that I have in some sort of reality, which I find to be really fun and really cool because it's kind of like you can trace it back to like, oh, this was Earth like in our time, but then take it like another like 10,000 years and it's like you can just basically do whatever you want with it at that point. More reasons why I really like sci-fi and I like writing it is probably the biggest part of that is space travel, right? Like I think space travel is so like just so cool and such a great like just a great concept to write to especially using for like writing because I've always liked like pirates and stuff, right? And like sailors and explorers how like they hop in a boat and they travel around the seven seas looking for cool treasures and legends and all that and just exploring the uninhabited world, right? And if you take that to an even bigger degree using space, right? The amount of stuff you can create is just almost endless, right? Like you can have like all the characters they're hopping on a spaceship and they're just like, all right, we're gonna go find the Fountain of Youth, and it's like turns out it actually wasn't on Earth. It's actually somewhere far across the galaxy. You can have them jumping from system to system, fighting these giant space battles and landing on a planet and having to like find it. And it's just like the scale, I think, is what I'm in love with the most. Like just the scale of everything, how it's so much bigger. There's so much more creative liberties you have. There's just so much, almost to the point where it's kind of like too much, dude. And I feel like particularly my stories, is just, my stories are particularly just, it's just a fantasy setting, but we can get into space somehow, which is what I really like about it. Wow, that was really quick. What's some other things? Definitely, um, races, right? Just or coming up with different like groups of people other than just humans, right? I feel like that's easier to write in a sci-fi setting than a fantasy setting because let's see. Because it's like you have humans on Earth, right? And Earth was like, how Earth is the reason why humans look the way they do, right? Their environment and all. And then you have like how do you fit in like lizard people who were living on the same planet just in like a different environment. I feel like that doesn't really like work well with me. I don't really like that. So I tend to put each, you know, different species on a different planet and then having them interact in space when they finally get out of all that, right? And oh, one more thing about space, right? I really really like how it's like once you get the spaceships going, right? You could connect just everything together. Like you can have people going from here to here to here to here, and it just comes up with so much good conflict. Like, oh, this group doesn't want this group in their territory, or having like a giant, like, just space wars just going on there. Just all fighting each other, fighting for dominance, and it's like, I definitely pull a lot of inspiration from 40K, like, because it's just like these massive scale wars. Yeah, so I just really like it. Uh, what else? All right, some ending notes, right? So, if you can tell already, I really like sci-fi. I'm really enjoying writing with it right now. Um, Bottom line, I just like the creative liberties, how you can change and morph and come up with anything that you really want in it, and just like that also having that underlying like there are rules, there's reality, like yeah, this is kind of magic, but it's like there's a reason behind it. That's not just ooh, it's just magic. Definitely the aesthetics, just cyborgs and robots and massive suits of armor. Like that's just really cool to me. Definitely the ideas, like just where you can go with it. Like, where would humanity be if it had the ability to travel anywhere in the galaxy? Like, what kind of stuff would humanity get up to, and what other aliens that I come up with would get up to, and just generally all these just cool concepts that you can make around that you can just make around having sci-fi. So, yeah, that's just me gushing about sci-fi. Thanks for watching, or thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.